I'm writing few papers. And weirdly, I'm also one of the reviewer in Springer Nature, but I haven't reviewed any paper yet. So it's fair to say I have pretty good knowledge in LaTeX because even I write my groceries in my LaTeX. So yeah. Next thing, fun fact: this September I actually met Leslie Lampert, who is the creator of LaTeX, and try to locate us two here. Maybe it's way too small of a picture. Um, I don't know if you can see it. Probably not. So I have highlighted it. This is me here, and this is Leslie here. It's probably really small to see, so no worries. Don't worry about it. Let's look at a clear picture. So this is me here. I don't know what I was doing, and this is Leslie here. So I spent a week with him. I spent a week with a lot of major personnels in mathematics and computer science. It's a completely different story of its own. I can maybe tell later, sometimes later. Another thing is I was talking with Leslie the entire time. We had like dinner, lunch, coffee together for a week. And I told him, so please give me one piece of advice from a person like you. And he just said, whatever you do, don't forget to have fun. And he wrote that in the catalog book of mine and he signed it to me. So I own this very prized treasure right now. And yeah, it's the key thing. So whatever you do, always have fun in. And whenever you're writing in LaTeX or something, whenever even you're researching, that's my go-to purpose. Okay, if I'm writing something, so I can talk about my research later. It's not trivial fact. I'm trying to prove something that has not been proven yet, and it is very frustrating. So try to have fun with that frustration, if that makes sense. Hey. And next thing is you might have seen these penguins around, right? This was actually developed by a friend of mine. This is a library in LaTeX, and he is the friend. He's Florian. This is me, and you might have recognized this familiar face, who is Tom Rocks Math. Tom Crawford, he's a professor in Oxford and Cambridge and a very famous YouTuber. He also works a lot with Numberphile, and I don't think I would have ever thought I would say this, but he's one of a very close friend of mine. So yeah, let's start. This is the end of this PPT. My screen is still sharing, right? That's good. Okay. So let's go to the file that I prepared, which we can go through. So my idea about LaTeX is basically I work on this particular file. I edit this and I fit according to the needs, right? By the way, if there is any questions from you guys, just feel free to interrupt me. If you keep questions end ko lagi, you will not understand baki kuraharu, right? So perfect. Let's start with what exactly a LaTeX file looks like. And you might have read a lot of papers, you might have seen a lot of articles or anything, and it's basically everything most often is made in LaTeX. In a case like the official typesetting software in academic writings. I can show you a few of my papers before, maybe if I can pull it out actually. I don't know.
That will be helpful.
Okay. Wait, my bad. Okay, this works. Okay, so this was my internship report that I wrote this summer, and you can see how nice, like how it looks like. So, for example, you can do this weird stuff like you can make an arrow and then make n times, or like you can do stuff like this. Like normally in Google Docs, you can't. This looks very funky in Google Docs or Microsoft Word, but it looks very clean in LaTeX. You can do stuff like referencing here. So I have some reference here. So for example, figure 1B, if I click on it, it will take me to figure 1b, right? By the way, this is my field. I do holomorphic dynamical systems, as already told, and you might have seen these famous figures called Mandelbrot set. You can do citations very easily. For example, these are the citations and references. We'll talk about those. You can define environments, which is definition environment, theorem environment, or you can do very complicated looking equations easily in LaTeX. You can separate text according to sections, subsections, paragraphs, all other stuffs, and you can make nice looking lists, whatever you want. For example, if you go down, we can see, yeah, for example, if I'm writing this proof, right? Um, it looks very natural and it looks like how you would normally write it in your paper. Um, I'll not try to explain this proof because frankly, it's really complicated and you need a lot of background knowledge. So don't look at the content of the maths, just look at the format for now. You can do weird stuff like this is Milner's book, and you can say which section it is from. And you can easily create these kind of references using just one word in code, right? Some other weird stuff that you can do is you can create figures like this. This figure that I have made, right? This is completely made using LaTeX. It was coded. Well, there are many ways you can do it. You can make this in something like GeoGebra or Desmos, export it as a text file, and then import it. But I don't really like it. I like to make my own figures. This, or for example, you can do these kind of solutions looking like stuff. You can do a lot of, yeah, in general like this. You can make figures like this that has colors in it, and you can do references, which is very neatly aligned. You don't have to write these. Well, you can choose to write this, but there is a way in which you can just avoid all of this and let LaTeX write it, which we'll be learning today. What else can I show about LaTeX? You can, by the way, you can do everything in LaTeX. For example, you can make your CV in LaTeX, which is next what I'm going to do. You can make CVs. Where is my CV? Let me find it. Okay. By the way, this CV is not updated, so don't mind it. It's like few years old CV. Yeah, I made this in LaTeX. This is my own format. I did not
Same
use any
classic
template.
photos.
Oh yeah, of course. Okay. Fun fact about this photo is that I took this photo 2 years ago and I have been using it for everything.
That seems cool.
Yeah, so as I was saying, you can make all of these fancy looking formats, templates. You can actually find some LaTeX templates for CVs or any other things that you are doing, but I tend to make my own most of the time, and this is my own. So let's jump to the LaTeX then. And actually, by the way, you can also write here, do your assignments in it. Let me just open the project of mine. Yeah, you can see I have a lot, 140 projects. Not all of them are completed, but most of them are. And let's look at something which is, there's someone in the room. Could you admit it? No? Okay. Let's look at something which is interesting. I don't know. Choose one file from here. Either one. Any one of them.
Let's see thesis raw.
Thesis raw, actually, it's not completed yet. I have a raw thesis right now. Also, I don't want to talk too much about it because it's unsolved and unpublished research. So I'm just gonna show you the top.
That's all right. You
Okay.
can choose another one then.
All right. Let's look at something like mathematical physics assignment number 6,
I
maybe.
think Gaussian integral pi, I think that will be
Okay. Okay. Gaussian integers were
integers, yeah.
and maybe I'll also show you how to do assignments in it. or like the formats of an assignment. Then we'll go into the main thing. So first look at Gaussian integers. This was actually a lecture note that I made for my students when I was teaching a course in number theory. Yeah, basically I was trying to use Gaussian integers and trying to compute pi using it, which is a very fun proof. I don't want to go into the proof, but I really want to, but I can't. Yeah, so you can format a lot of things. Like, for example, you can say theorem, then this theorem, then you can work on this theorem, then you can create a new proposition. And this is really easy to do it. For example, let's just say if I want to write this theorem 2.2, right? Let's see where exactly it is here. I can just write begin theorem and it will give me theorem. I don't even have to number this or like make it bold or anything. And I can just write the theorem, for example, for n greater than 0, greater than 1, we have this, which is basically this, what we wrote in LaTeX. And we'll learn this how to write it. All right. And yeah, so you can write very complicated looking equations, well, like this. It looks scary right now, but you'll see like it's not that difficult. For example, this class norm is what I defined previously, which gives me n, then bracket, and alpha is this alpha. So you can follow along, but if you just look at it straight, then it looks complicated, but it's not that much difficult. And yeah, you can do something like this, piecewise definition of functions, which is basically begin cases. You can add cases on it, and a lot of stuff. You can even add black boxes, which is at the end of the proof, UED. All right, this was Gaussian integers, how I use LaTeX for assignments. Let's look at it. This was my mathematical physics assignment number 6. October 18. Let's look at some of the solutions, right? This is a question. I can just write the question here and then begin proof. See, I can just write, this is the question and then begin proof. It will just give me proof. And at the end of the proof, it will give me a white box. I don't even have to do anything about it. And I can just write as if I was writing anything. So Heaviside function is defined as this. Then I have the equation environment and the solutions. And for solutions, I can just use begin equation. It's very versatile looking idea, and you can do a lot of stuff from here. Don't look at this monster mathematics here because it's very weird and I don't want to look at it. I don't want to remember this. If you did not know till now, I'm a mathematician, so okay, let's go into LaTeX tutorial finally. Great. First thing, let's look at what my first line of code is. I have said something called input preamble, and preamble is basically your packages that you install or call. So if we look at document classes and
Arnav,
packages, yeah.
sorry to interrupt you. तिमीले नेपालीमा बोल्दा नि हुन्छ है लाइक अलिक पिटी स्केरी भइरहेछ कि स्केरी मुभमेन्ट भइरहेछ अहिले होइन त्यो लस अफ
Uh,
म्याथमेटिक्स त्यो कोडहरू हेर्दाखेरि होइन अर्कै
uh-huh.
भइरहेछ सो तिमीले नेपालीमा पनि भन्दा हुन्छ है
ए
इफ
ल
यु
केही बुझेन भने मलाई इन्टरप्ट गर्दा हुन्छ, डोन्ट वरी.
वान्ट ओके ओके
I tend to drift towards English किनकि इङ्ग्लिसमा पढाइ हुन्छ यहाँनिर and everything. So okay. So document classes and packages हेरौँ है त. So there are different ways in which different documents you can make LaTeX मा है. The one that I use here, I think, is article. Let me look at the preamble. Yes, I use article here. Let's look at यहाँनिर हेरौँ है त. So के document classहरू बनाउनु मिल्छ, कस्तो खालको डकुमेन्टहरू बनाउनु मिल्छ LaTeX मा. So we can make articles, which is normally के बनाइन्छ हामी scientific paperहरू, short report, tutorialहरू. We can make it as a report, which is relatively long paperहरू, thesisहरू, अनि अलिक लामो पेपरहरू छ जस्तै journalहरू भयो, त्यसको लागि चाहिँ we can use report. Book लेख्नको लागि you can use book वाला classहरू. अनि there is a beamer. Remember I made this, which was PowerPoint जस्तो looking, and it was made using beamer. Beamer is for presentation slides है त. So in this case, I used article. All right. Now the next thing is packages. Packages भनेको चाहिँ you can use, for example, let's go to main.text. अनि let's see something like, look at this. मैले यहाँनिर use package geometry भनेर लेखेको छु. अनि it is formatted in a very weird looking way नि. जसरी यहाँनिर LaTeX मा लेखिन्छ. If I go to preamble, let's say यहाँनिर जसरी लेखिरहेको छ. I don't think I have that particular example. तर यहाँनिर use package यस्तो भनेको छ. So this is a code. अनि यसलाई मैले पेपरमा रिप्रेजेन्ट गर्नु पर्यो भने it will not show anything किनकि it will just treat it as a package definition. So I can use some other package, just say case. For this case, I used algorithms, I think. Yeah, LST listing one day. Ani, you can use these kind of packages. You can use for mathematics symbol or you can use AMS text or let's look at preamble. This is where I import all of the packages. So use package यो भनेको फर्मेटिङहरुको लागि ल्याङ्ग्वेजहरुको लागि हैन बाबेलहरु त्यसपछि फन्टहरुको लागि टीजी टर्म्स अनि मार्जिनहरु सेट गर्न मिल्छ यहाँनेरि सो मार्जिन मैले 2.5 सेन्टिमिटर मात्र गरेको छु which is this length is 2.5 सेट स्पेस लाइन स्पेसिङहरुको लागि 1/2 स्पेसिङ भनेको each लाइनमा जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ 1/2 स्पेसिङ मात्र दिन्छ फुल स्पेसिङको सट्टा वा प्याराग्राफ इन्डेन्टेसन मलाई नेक्स्ट प्याराग्राफमा जानलाई चाहिँ इन्डेन्टेसन मन पर्दैन वा लाटेक्सले चाहिँ अलवेज यत्रो ब्लकमा इन्डेन्टेसन राखिदिन्छ के अनि मलाई त्यो मन पर्दैन सो आई जस्ट डिफाइन नो इन्डेन्टेसन पछि प्याराग्राफमा इफ यु रिमुभ दिस अनि त्यसपछि नेक्स्ट प्याराग्राफमा जाँदाखेरि इन्डेन्टेसन त आउँछ अनि त्यही प्याराग्राफमा गएर यु क्यान राइट स्ल्यास नो इन्डेन्टेसन द्याट अल्सो वर्क्स तर झ्याउ हुन्छ धेरै हरेकचोटि त्यो गर्नको लागि अनि I can just define it in preamble. The next packages are like, for example, AMS Math, AMS Fonts, AMS Symbols, AMS Theorem, which is mathematics, more mathematics packages. This gives me like way to format these kind of equations, nice looking equations. Right? I can use physics for physics notations, bracket or derivative or usually I don't use derivatives for physics connotation. I just use fractions. I am a mathematician, but I know it is not a fraction still. It looks like a fraction. अनि ग्राफिक्सहरुको लागि for example graphics CS import गर्यो भने you can insert pictures like this. यो भनेको चाहिँ कहाँनेर exactly place गर्ने जस्तै you can okay yes this is where I need to show. I'll come back to this. अनि book tabsहरु टेबलहरुको लागि टप रुल मिड रुल अनि टिक्जी भनेको चाहिँ अघि मैले त्यहाँनेर यो वाला देखाएको थिएँ नि यिनीहरु डायग्रामहरु देखाएको थिएँ नि अनि आई सेड आई कोडेड दिस डायग्राम त्यो भनेको चाहिँ टिक्जीबाट कोड गर्ने हो है अनि टिक्जी पिंगस भनेको चाहिँ अघि मैले देखाएको थिएँ दिस पेंगुइनहरु अनि इट वाज डेभलप्ड बाइ माइ फ्रेन्ड विल टक अबाउट दिस लेटर अनि देन एल्गोरिथम्सहरु if your line of work requires you to add code in your documentation or like in your research and you want to include the code on it, you can use algorithm and it looks something like this, right? Ani pseudocode ko lagi pani त्यही छ. Then there are a lot of different things. Like for example, bibliography ko lagi I use AMS alpha भन्ने, you can use APA, anything, Harvard, you can change this according to it. अनि कोडहरुको लागि अब लिस्टिङ एक्स कलरहरु भइहाल्यो अनि यो भनेको चाहिँ हाउ डु आई वान्ट माइ कोड टु बी सीन जस्तै यो कोड हो अनि यसको ब्याकग्राउन्ड कलर कुन हो अनि त्यसपछि यसको यो कोड वाला कलर कुन कलरले आउँछ यो के रे यसलाई के भन्छ कमेन्ट्स कुन कलरमा आउँछ यो सेटअप गर्ने भयो यिनीहरु पनि यहाँनेरि यो डिफाइन कलर यहाँ लिने अनि त्यो कलरबाट चाहिँ यहाँनेरि डिफाइन गर्नु अनि स्टाइल आफैले चेन्ज गर्न मिल्यो हेडर र फुटर चाहियो भने जस्तै दिस इज हेडर्स दिस इज फुटर हेडर फुटरको लागि फ्यान्सी एसडिआरहरु प्याकेजहरु युज गर्न मिल्यो त्यसपछि एज अ म्याथमेटिशियन आई युज दिस व्हिच इज न्यू इन्भाइरोमेन्टहरु डिफाइन गर्न मिल्छ आफैले त्यो भनेको चाहिँ I can make a new environment which is theorem environment and it will be called when I do this kind of stuff which is begin proof or begin theorem अनि त्यसपछि you can write theorem inside it or proof inside it. होइन, we'll come back to that. अनि there is hyperref which is referencing. अनि by the way this must be loaded last किनकि यसले override गरिदिन्छ सबैलाई. I have had a lot of problem with it before. So that's why I have written this यहाँनिर. अनि hyperref भनेको चाहिँ referencing को लागि. So for example, if I go here, this is my paper that I have referenced, or if I want to add this URL, त्यसको लागि hyperref for चाहिन्छ. Right? Okay, let's go to the actual document now. So सबैजनाले format of the LaTeX document अनि त्यसको package बुझ्यो होला. Right? Any questions? No. Okay, perfect. Now we go into the actual design of the code of the format, and you can separate out your text into sections, headings, paragraphs, alignments, and spacings. Well, spacing and alignments are two different things that you can separate out in terms of sections, headings, and paragraphs. For example, if you see, there are sections of document class and packages on it. Oh, if I look at it, slash section got a document class and packages wala section define bar. The section bitra I want document class matra kura garna man lagcha. Then I can just define subsections slash subsection. By the way, LaTeX ma whenever you are using every core चाहिँ slash बाट सुरु हुन्छ. अनि backslash is not forward slash. अनि so there is section, subsection, subsections. For example, if I go यहाँनिर हैन यो subsection document class भित्र I want another 1.1.1 चाहियो अरे मलाई. So I can just do subsection अनि test. Okay. So यसको तल यहाँ आउनुपर्छ. See 1.1.1 अनि यो भित्र you can write something else like I don't know. It doesn't matter, right? So you can easily format and number your LaTeX document, okay? Right? Okay. That's section, subsection. If you want subsection, you need to do a bit more formatting to it. I have done it before, but it's really complicated. I don't want to go into it right now. Also, we have defined packages. Okay, so sections and headings. Section level 1 ko header dincha. So if you also look at these sizes यहाँनिर section 2 मा heading को size अलिक ठुलो छ, त्यसपछि अलिक सानो हुन्छ. Next मा गयो भने अझै सानो हुन्छ. अनि they will give you level 1 header, level 2 header, level 3 header, right? That's the sections and headings. Also, if you are writing books or more detailed report class मा चाहिँ there's also chapters. So you can also do slash chapter because you can add chapter, right? Then there is paragraph and indentation. So slash par le naya paragraph force garcha. I don't really use it. Nobody uses it mostly किनकि just a blank line गर्यो भने like whenever you are writing something like let us say sections माथि आउँछ. Okay, somewhere around here, होइन? I'm writing something. Great. एउटा लाइन गरे अनि यहाँनिर राखे. What do you think? Will it give me a new paragraph? Okay, answer आइहाल्यो. Never mind. So एउटा enter गरेर गर्यो भने चाहिँ it does not give you a new paragraph. But if you add a new line यहाँनिर, then this will go back to a new paragraph. See? Right? And I want to show something preamble मा जाउँ. अनि remember when I said no indentation यहाँनिर, I want to comment it out. Comment, by the way, percentage लेख्यो भने comment हुन्छ हैन? So if I go to main.text and now compile this, yeah, right? There's a huge indentation here. This one. Again, indentation थिएन नि. Now there's the indentation. Okay? I don't want this indentation. I don't like this indentation. Normally, I can just do slash no indent and then start the paragraph. So if I look at this, there is no indentation now. तर हरेकचोटि नयाँ प्याराग्राफमा जाँदाखेरि नो इन्डेन्ट लेख्नु भन्दा I can just do remove this Ani go to preamble. Ani add this tiny looking line. And now if I compile this, oops, my bad. Then there is no indentation. Good, perfect. Let's remove this. By the way, this document will be shared to you guys, I hope. So they will confirm me that. Okay. Indent, it forces an indent. Indent map. So whenever you are writing something again, and you go new, and you can write slash indent here, and you can say how many indents, like 1 centimeter maybe. I don't know if this works. I never use indent. I don't like indent. Oh no, it does not. Maybe no. One should not work. I don't really know. I don't really use this command. But it is there. If you want to look at it, you can customize your own indentation. One thing is how I learned LaTeX was if I need to do something, I used to just Google it. मेरो बेला ChatGPT थिएन when I learned this LaTeX. So now you can just ask AI system to give you the ideas that are. What I say, I was like, how to manually add indentation in LaTeX. And wow, okay, not interested, thank you. And in horizontal mode, add this. In vertical mode, VBox. Actually, yeah, V space or S space they come with it. My bad. Why did I forget about that? But yeah, that's indentation. No invents prevents the indentation. While we are on this topic, let me also show you what I was talking about. V space or S. Wait, there's a section I think later on when I talk about V spaces and S spaces. Yes, I do. Okay. टेक्स्ट अलाइनमेन्ट हामी वर्डमा युज गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ सेन्टरमा राख्ने कि लेफ्टमा राख्ने टेक्स्ट राइटमा राख्ने टेक्स्ट त्यो हुन्थ्यो विच वाज बेसिकली अ सिम्पल क्लिक तर यसमा सिन्स यु आर कोडिङ एभ्रिथिङ यु हेभ टु कोड इट अनि त्यसको लागि चाहिँ प्लस लेफ्ट प्लस राइट भन्ने कोडहरू हुन्छ सो लेट्स युज द्याट है त आइम हियर होइन बिगिङ आइटमाइजको तलपट्टि एकदम है डु आई हेभ द्याट ओके लेट मी चेक समथिङ I don't think I have it. Let me do something here. Let's use package. I don't want to type random stuff. Let me just use that. Some loading memory. Where was I writing? Current paragraph. Plus left, plus right. I think. No, I was in no indent. Yes. I don't want it there. I wanted, since I was looking at plus left, plus right, right? So I was going here. Do it here. Text alignment. So this will give me a new paragraph here. Yep, it gave me a new paragraph, right? If I want to create a new paragraph, I can just do slash Lipson and maybe the third paragraph in that Lipson. And it gave me another paragraph. Good. So now I don't have to type huge number of stuff. I just had a predefined text. And what I want is let's add another one. I want your first paragraph to be centered aligned. I want the second paragraph to be left aligned, and the third one to be right aligned. How do I do this? I can do slash begin center. And whenever you begin something, you have to end it as well, and put it inside. Okay. So त्यो गर्यो भने I think first paragraph should be center aligned. Let's check. Yes, it is center aligned. Oh, we can see that. I want the second paragraph to be left. So what I can do is I can do just begin plus left. I can add this inside there. And I want the third to be right. So by default, by the way, LaTeX always uses justify alignment, which is the fourth alignment that you see if you use Word or Google Doc. जुनले चाहिँ like it goes यहाँनेरि I don't know, I don't think I can show it यहाँनेरि, but yeah, there's another one which is called justify alignment. Yeah, which looks something like this. There is no gaps in left or right. It is just complete line. अनि त्यसपछि यदि केही हालेन भने चाहिँ त्यो हामी बचामा ड्यास लेखेर अर्को लाइनमा जान्थ्यौँ नि. It does that. Justifyमा है. Yeah, now this worked as we wanted. यो हेर्दाखेरि it is center aligned. यो हेऱ्यो भने लेफ्ट अलाइन किनकि लेफ्टमा कुनै पनि ग्याप छैन. यो हेऱ्यो भने राइट अलाइन छ किनकि देयर इज नो ग्याप इन राइट. ओके, पर्फेक्ट. नेक्स्ट हेरौँ लिस्टहरू. सो मलाई ग्रोसरिज गर्नु पर्यो अरे अनि आई वान्ट टु मेक अ लिस्ट अफ स्टफ आई वान्ट टु बाई. सो त्यसको लागि के गर्छु, स्ल्यास बिगिन अनि लिस्ट गरेँ अरे. मैले लिस्ट गरेँ भने केही पनि आउँदैन. आई वान्ट इन्युमरेट, किनकि इन्युमरेट भनेको चाहिँ इन्युमरेटले चाहिँ आइटममा नम्बरहरू दिन्छ कि, किनकि इट विल इन्युमरेट एभ्रिथिङ. अनि लेट्स से मलाई लेट्स राइट यहाँनिर, सो लेट्स से ग्रोसरी हैन. के चाहिएको छ मलाई, ल मिट चाहियो अरे. अनि आइटम भनेको चाहिँ इच आइटमलाई नयाँ नम्बर दिन्छ. अनि आई वान्ट समथिङ लाइक आई डोन्ट नो अनियन्स. आई वान्ट से I want cola. I don't know, chocolates. Okay, good. By default, if you look at it, यहाँनिर 1 2 3 4 आयो. Oh, I don't like 1 2 3 4. I want ABCD. I can just manually add ABCD यहाँनिर. Okay, maybe dot. You might like that. I'm pretty sure there is a better way in which you can just decorate तिम्रो environment यहाँनिर so big bracket राखेर to make it ABCD वाला. I don't really know that. You can always Google that and check it. I just use in American. Right. So now I have ABCD. Great. This was what I wanted. About what I wanted, let's go even deeper, right? What if timro list भित्र पनि list छ के? So I want meatमा चाहिँ I want say खसीको मासु पनि चाहियो, कुखुराको मासु पनि चाहियो अरे. कसरी गर्ने? Item, so मेरो meat भित्र. Now if I write something here, by the way, if I add this and just write something here, it will just go as if it was a paragraph. And it just let's see if this compiles, right? It will just go as if it was a paragraph. And it's all अर्को लाइनमा पनि जान्छ. A little more. Okay. Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait. What? Something's wrong. किन बाहिर गयो? Okay. Yeah, now it works. So as if it was a new paragraph, तल जान्छ अनि it will add a new paragraph, new space between the second option, हैन? Now I wanted यो meat भित्र पनि more classification, हैन? So what I can do is I can add a new enumerate environment again. Okay? So if I do begin enumerate again, so meet पछि enumerate सुरु भयो नि, so I can write chicken yanity, I can write say goat, होइन? See, meet पछि नयाँ इन्डेन्ट हालेर ए आयो अब. So which is a new sub list, sub enumeration, है त? And you can do this to anyone. You can actually change this as well, yanity. I don't want area, I want like 1.1 really. Okay, 1.1 आयो. So you can do all sort of stuff. You can customize everything. Now, what I want is I didn't like your numbered list. मलाई चाहिँ I didn't want this hierarchy भनौँ न. I can just change that by doing this. So अघि enumerate गरेको थियौँ नि हैन, enumerate मा चाहिँ number दियो. अब if I do something called itemize, यहाँनेरि it will just itemize it, just bullet points हरूमा दिन्छ. I think it will come up in the next one. So यहाँनेरि enumerate use गर्दाखेरि ordered list आयो. यहाँनेरि unordered itemize. यहाँनेरि किन 1 2 3 को छ किनकि यहाँ पनि enumerate छ. So I can just do itemize here and ups. Okay, so if I look at it, then see, it did not order it. It just gave a random symbols to it. Hey, so you can do a lot of this kind of stuff with lister. But we are going into manual spacing. Manual spacing भनेको चाहिँ V space, S space. There are other spaces as well. त्यो भनेको चाहिँ oh yeah, S field. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Say I want to do something. Let's write something. Either. This is my text. I want 1 centimeter space between the word apple and orange. हैन? अब I can, so this is my text. Say in the new paragraph, I wrote apple and orange. Apple, orange. हैन? अनि I want 1 centimeter distance between them. यहाँनिर अहिले त 1 centimeter छैन नि. It's just one space worth distance. I want 1 centimeter ठुलो box. Then what I can do is I can write something called /h space. H space, H stands for horizontal. So horizontal space add गर्ने अनि I want how much 1 centimeter बनाए है मैले. If I add 1 centimeter, let's see. See, now there is 1 centimeter distance between these two, right? You can write 1 inch पनि IN होइन इन्चको abbreviation. See, 1 inch distance आयो अब. You can even write in terms of pixels. I don't know how to do it. Something has to do with E or something. But you can always, in day-to-day life, you can just use centimeters or inches and go by with it. मलाई अब के गर्नु पर्यो भने 1 centimeter distance त चाहियो, तर एप्पल र ओरेन्जको बिचमा vertical distance चाहियो रे. So दुईटा different लाइनमा आओस् अनि I want a vertical distance between them. So अब h space ले त काम गरेन किनकि h space त horizontal distance थियो. So I can just do V space and 1 inch space राख्दिने. V भनेको vertical. Let's look at it. No, wait. It's always a good practice to add at least 1 space between all of them so that it compiles properly. Good. Okay. 1 inch डिस्टेन्स आयो ग्रेट नाइ मलाई यो मन परेन मलाई चाहिँ के चाहियो भने मलाई एप्पल यता चाहियो अनि ओरेन्ज चाहिँ फार लेफ्टमा चाहियो अनि बिचमा जति स्पेस हुन्छ त्यो अटोमेटिकली डिटरमाइन गर्नु पर्यो अरे सो कस्तो भने आई से आई एम मेकिङ अ प्रोज एन्ड कन्स लिस्ट प्रोज अनि कन्स होइन अनि आइ एम राइटिङ अ पेपर अबाउट इट अनि त्यसपछि प्रोज एक साइडमा लिस्ट गर्नु पर्यो कन्स एक साइडमा लिस्ट गर्नु पर्यो अरे मलाई होइन आई क्यान अनि आई वान्ट द स्पेस बिट्विन देम त प्रोजको लागि पनि स्पेस चाहियो कन्सको लागि पनि स्पेस चाहियो नि त तर आई डोन्ट नो कति स्पेस हो मलाई मलाई एस्टिमेट गर्न आएन अरे 1 सेन्टिमिटर हो कि 5 सेन्टिमिटर हो मलाई थाहा भएन अरे सो लेट्स से स्ल्यास एट स्पेस 1 सेन्टिमिटर गरौँ अहिलेको लागि अनि 1 सेन्टिमिटर गऱ्यो भने कन्स यहीँसम्म मात्रै आउँछ मोस्ट प्रोबेबली राइट सो कन्स यहाँनिर आयो धेरै स्पेस भएन यो लेट्स से 1 सेन्टिमिटर है 10 सेन्टिमिटर हो 0.1 होइन 10 सेन्टिमिटर चाहियो अरे मलाई लेट्स सी 10 सेन्टिमिटर पनि इट्स नट इक्वली डिस्टेन्स बिट्विन होइन दुइटाको बिचमा इक्वल डिस्टेन्स छैन कि सो आई कान्ट आई बल द्याट आइडिया अनि यदि मैले यहाँनिर डिस्टेन्स यहाँनिरको ऊ चाहिँ चेन्ज गरिदिएँ भने यो कन्स अझै साइडमा सर्दिन्छ कि बुझ्यो नि होइन या यहाँनिर साइडमा सर्दियो मलाई त्यो मन परेन अरे सो वाट आई क्यान डु समथिङ इज इफ आई वान्ट इक्वल डिस्टेन्स बिट्विन देम अनि कन्स चाहिँ सबैभन्दा कुनामा अनि प्रो चाहिँ सबैभन्दा अर्को कुनामा चाहियो भने चाहिँ आई क्यान युज समथिङ कल्ड एच फिल त्यो भनेको चाहिँ इट विल अटोमेटिकली डिटरमाइन कति डिस्टेन्स चाहिन्छ दुइटाको बिचमा अनि एउटाले एउटा कुनामा राखिन्छ अर्कोलाई अर्को कुनामा राखिन्छ या गुड पर्फेक्ट अब वी गो टु फिगर्स एन्ड टेबल्स सबैभन्दा कम्प्लिकेटेड वान by the way, I forgot something about formatting Aruma. If you want to write something in bold, italics, or underline, you can do slash text BF भनेको bold face अनि say I want. I want चाहिँ bold गरौँ हैन. I want something like italicized, which is text IT, which is italics 1 centimeter like italics गरिदिउँ हैन. अनि I want spaceमा चाहिँ I want underline. So that's not text UD, that's just underline. Okay, just looking at it. See, I want is bold, 1 centimeter is italicized, and space is underlined. All right. There's one more, which is, can someone guess? No guesses? I can do something called overline, which gives the line on top. Why is there an error? I did not insert a dollar here. Okay, yes. Overline को लागि चाहिँ you need a dollar sign. My bad. Dollar भनेको चाहिँ equation environment हो अनि I don't want text inside. We'll come back to this, but it looks a bit complicated. No worries. I don't think you will ever need overline in text environment as well. So that's fine.
I never used overline.
Overline normally म चाहिँ कस्तो केसमा युज गर्छु भने if I want to write something like mean जस्तै x mean लेख्नु पर्यो x bar लेख्नु पर्यो भने चाहिँ overline use गरिन्छ वा if I just want to be fancy with vector notations I can just do overline in a
Vector notations.
There is a usual vector notation that you can normally use, so it's fine. Okay, let's go यहाँनिर. So sample table example दिएको छु हैन मैले. Tableहरु चाहिँ you can do a lot of different professional tablesहरु जस्तै top rule, mid rule, bottom rule भनेको चाहिँ कहाँनेरि लाइनहरु राख्ने खालको. So टपमा लाइन राख्ने, मिडलमा लाइन राख्ने कि बटममा लाइन राख्ने. अनि there is a example table I made यहाँनिर है त. So let's look at this environment. So we first have begin table, किनकि table environment सुरु गर्नु पर्यो हो. Then there's something called H, capital H bracket ma. What is this? Any guesses?
I think to fix the format.
Not to fix the format or to fix the position.
Okay.
So कस्तो भने H ले चाहिँ के गर्छ भने it adds the table exactly where the code is. So मेरो कोड चाहिँ ठ्याक्क बटम रोल भन्दा तलपट्टि छ नि त. So टेबल चाहिँ ठ्याक्क त्यसको तलपट्टि आयो कि यहाँनिर जुन पोजिसनमा मेरो कोड छ ठ्याक्कै त्यो पोजिसनमा टेबल राखिदिन्छ. If I say T, हैन, अनि let's recompile this. Then it will add my table on top. Well, yeah, it will add my oh, something's wrong. Is it T, capital, small t, maybe? Yeah, small t, top ma rakhe table. Oh, some scientific papers requires all of the tables or figures to be on top of the page, no matter where it is cited. त्यही भएर टीहरु लेख्न मिल्छ. Why if you want it to be bottom, B मा राख्न मिल्छ. Let's look at it. If you want it to be bottom of the page, B मा राख्न मिल्यो हैन. तर if you want it to be exactly where the code is, you can just do H. अनि this is my preferred way as well, किनकि म टेबल एउटा साइड अफ पेजमा कुरा गरिरहेको छु अनि त्यसपछि मैले टेबल खोज्नको लागि चाहिँ अर्को साइडमा जानु पर्यो भने चाहिँ मलाई मन पर्दैन. So I just want it exactly where I'm talking about, हैन. So H यहाँ छ. Next line, centering भनेको छ. Centering ले के गर्छ होला? Any guesses?
सेन्टरमा राख्छ हैन त्यो टेबललाई.
Yes, टेबललाई सेन्टरमा राखिन्छ है. So राइटमा छैन, लेफ्टमा छैन, सेन्टरमा छ. Good. Caption ले के गर्छ? It adds the caption माथिपट्टि. Table 1 भनेर अनि त्यसपछि caption माथि राख्दियो, scientific simple scientific table भनेर. If you add this caption bottom तलपट्टि end tabular भन्दा तलपट्टि राख्यो भने चाहिँ table caption तलपट्टि हुन्छ. And now this is a duality. So I was giving LaTeX workshop like 2 वर्ष अगाडि अनि म्याथमेटिक्स र फिजिक्समा चाहिँ तिम्रो क्याप्सन टेबलमा क्याप्सन चाहिँ सबैभन्दा माथि टपमा आउनुपर्छ कि सधैँ हैन. डिपेन्ड्स अन प्रोफेसर बाइ द वे, तर मोस्ट युजली इज अन टप. तर आई वाज गिभिङ LaTeX ट्युटोरियल टु बायोलोजी स्टुडेन्ट्सहरू पनि त्यतिखेर. सो इन क्राउड देवर बायोलोजी एन्ड केमिस्ट्री स्टुडेन्टहरू पनि, अनि देवर लाइक होइन क्याप्सन टेबलको क्याप्सनहरू सबै क्याप्सनहरू बटममा हुनुपर्छ भनेर कुरा आएको थियो कि. अनि द्याट वाज द फर्स्ट टाइम आई न्यू क्याप्सन चाहिँ बटममा पनि हुन्छ भन्ने टेबलमा चाहिँ. नर्मली फिगरहरूमा चाहिँ इफ यु लुक यहाँ तल फिगरहरूको क्याप्सन चाहिँ सधैँ बटममा हुन्छ. तर टेबलको चाहिँ मोस्ट अफ्टन फिजिक्स र म्याथमेटिक्समा विल बी अन टप. द्याट्स वान थिङ टु नोटिस हैन. ल अर्को हेरौँ. बिगिन टेबुलर भनेको छ अनि LC र R लेखेको छ यहाँनिर. वाट इज दिस? एनी आइडिया?
आई डोन्ट युज LCR. म चाहिँ त्यो ब्र्याकेटमा हैन C युज गर्छु हैन. अनि त्यो इजी पनि हुन्छ अनि टाइम इफिसिएन्ट पनि हुन्छ के.
Okay, I'll give a new I'll make another table this part. तर this is just for example in a sense कि LCR भनेको चाहिँ लेफ्ट सेन्टर र राइट भन्छ हैन. अनि त्यो भनेको चाहिँ फर्स्ट कोलम छ नि, इट इज लेफ्ट अलाइन. हेर त अल्फा बीटा गामाहरु लेफ्ट अलाइन छ हो. सेन्टर वाला चाहिँ सेकेन्ड कोलम चाहिँ इज सेन्टर अलाइन. हेर त भ्यालु 1 2 3 अनि ठ्याक्क बीचमा छ नि सबै हो.
यस.
थर्ड इज राइट अलाइन. रिजल्ट अनि त्यसपछि राइटमा केही पनि छैन, यतापट्टि ग्याप छ हो. सो यदि टेबलमा चाहिँ अन्य 3टा मात्रै कोलम छ भने चाहिँ यु क्यान युज LCR. Okay. किनकि इट लुक्स नाइसर. यु क्यान जस्ट डु समथिङ लाइक CCC पनि. अनि CCC गर्यो भने चाहिँ एभ्रिथिङ विल बी सेन्टर अलाइन. लेट्स लुक एट इट. या सी एभ्रिथिङ वाज सेन्टर अलाइन हो. अनि यहाँनिर टप रुल लेखेको छ. वाट इज टप रुल? टप रुल भनेको चाहिँ माथि टपमा चाहिँ देयर इज अ लाइन हो. ओके. अनि second line मा I have textहरु which is in this case headersहरु. So first header is experiment, the second one is value, the third one is result, अनि it is separated by this and भन्ने code which basically tells you and पछिको चाहिँ is next column भन्ने. Okay. One thing you might have seen is there is this dollar around X. And dollar is basically equation environment. So whenever you have to write something that is equations or it looks like an equation, for example, if I just write X and यसको comma and sideमा हालेर dollar बाहिर X राख्यो भने let's see how it looks like. And let's see how dollar भित्रको X looks like. बाहिरको X looks like whatever you write in text. Oh, so normal weird X, solid X. तर equation environment मा राख्यो भने चाहिँ it looks like equation वाला X के curly X, italicized X, right? So whenever you use dollar, it is basically bringing out the equation environment. Yeah.
There's a question from feels like such a dumb question, but the table 1 automatically added, or did I miss something because I cannot spot it's in the coda?
So basically तिमीले caption लेख्यो भने table 1 भनेर automatically आउँछ. It's the first table. Let's look at some example, right? I want to make this LCR नै अनि I want to make a new table. So I just will copy this table and त्यसपछि say somewhere like यहाँनेरि हैन. I want a simple scientific table B2 गरौँ अनि I want this to be something like C this C अनि यहाँनेरि साइडमा अर्को लाइन पनि यसरी एड गरौँ. I'll explain what the line does. अनि let's look at this. Okay. So मैले नयाँ table add गरेँ नि, it automatically gave me table 2. I did not have to change the number. बुझ्यौ नि? So normally whenever you're writing any code in other platforms जस्तै तिमीले table 1 अनि यो लेख्नु पर्यो. माथि केही गरी नयाँ table हाल्यो भने you have to change all the numberings. हैन? Now this will automatically add me tables to numberहरु. अनि we'll look at more useful example of that. अनि what I did यहाँनेरि is a vertical line C गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ it just adds new line vertically. Okay, this was what Sudeep was talking about. Okay, right?
Yes.
Another thing that I don't like is top rule ले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ यहाँनेरि यस्तो लामो लाइन आयो हैन. I don't like this. I want something like H line, I think. अनि यहाँनेरि I want H line. Bottom rule पनि I want H line. Okay. Now it looks more table जस्तो भनौँ न, normally हामीले पेपरमा बनाउने table जस्तो, right? This looks nicer. तर depending on the situation, both of those tables can be used in a different way. बुझ्यौ नि? Right? Even if you want line in between alpha, beta, and gamma, you can do something like यहाँनेरि यसको तलपट्टि /h line. H line. Yeah. So it adds another horizontal line यहाँनेरि. Okay. There's one more thing to explain, which is these double slashes. Double slashes ले के गर्छ भने no matter in the code, double slash will always take you to the next line. So for example, यो table भन्दा तल लेखौँ ल. यो table भन्दा तल के लेखौँ भने I want this. So I wrote this रे. अनि I want the next line to be on the next thing that I want to be on the next line. So if I write this, let it compile. See? Double slash गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ everything came to the next line.
Yes.
Good. So every time you add double slash, it will take you to the next line. अनि table मा especially it is relevant किनकि यहाँ double slash गरेन भने this thing will continue again. And it will give you an error किनकि माथिपट्टि चाहिँ C ले चाहिँ कतिवटा कोलम छ भनेर डिटरमाइन गर्छ. Well, C is full for center, left or U हैन. तर you can also think as कतिवटा कोलम छ भनेर. यहाँनिर 3टा कोलम छ. तर if I did not add this line यहाँनिर डबल स्ल्यास कतिवटा कोलम हुन्थ्यो यसले एउटै लाइन हो भनेर बुझ्थ्यो. 1 2 3 4 5 6 वटा लाइन बुझ्थ्यो अनि एरर दिन्थ्यो कि. एक्चुअली नो यसले 5 वटा लाइन बुझ्थ्यो. यहाँ 5 वटा कोलम बुझ्थ्यो. 1 2 3 यो र यो एउटै लाइन भन्ने बुझ्थ्यो. 4 5. Okay. That's good. Any question on table? By the way, table is the most complicated in LaTeX. It's well not complicated. It's the most time consuming to write. So if there's any questions, just interrupt me. Eh? Good. There's one more thing I can show you is कुनै table मा चाहिँ यहाँनिर double line अलिक bold line जस्तो हुन्छ. I don't really like those. तर you can just do double. Oh, sorry. You can just do double vertical lines. यहाँनिर and it will give you a like bold line. So let's see. Yeah, it's the line. Just to make your table fancy. Ani, you can change this, you can find a lot of different ideas. For example, के गर्ने यो दुईटा सेललाई कम्बाइन गर्नको लागि चाहिँ के गर्ने त्यसको लागि चाहिँ I think it's like way too deep into the thing, and since this is just a beginner's tutorial, I would suggest you to just Google it. अनि Google गर्यो भने चाहिँ there is documentation by Overleaf itself that will tell you exactly how to do everything. Right? And that's how I learned LaTeX when like even till now. If I don't know how to do something, I'll just Google it. Or Overleaf has something very beautiful, which is you can go यहाँनिर माथि and generate table आफैले visual editor मा गएर यहाँनिर table आफैले add गर्नुहुन्छ. I don't really use it. I don't recommend it. But if you get stuck, then you can use it. Right? Okay. Next, we are looking at figures and images. And this was exactly what I was talking about. So you're gonna say float package lines which we used अघि अनि मैले preamble explain गर्दाखेरि पनि यो part चाहिँ म पछि explain गर्छु भनेको थिएँ नि यहाँनिर यो part चाहिँ म पछि explain गर्छु भनेर भनेको थिएँ. So basically ads ले चाहिँ it gives you exactly the position of the code and त्यसमा लेखिदिन्छ अनि we require that है. Next thing, see यहाँनिर मैले ads लेखेको छैन नि by default टपमा गरिदिन्छ कि सबै इमेजेसहरु वा टेबलहरु यदि केही पनि लेखेको छैन. So यहाँनिर this Mandelbrot set is on top. I don't like it. I want this to be exactly where I wrote it. So let's write it. See? Organic texture माथि गयो. Now this is for figure and if figure like it's a begin figure it's the same idea as table organization study that it's much more simpler. किनकि now to add table you just write include graphics अनि कति width चाहियो. So 0.5 lines width भनेको चाहिँ यसको यो figure को length छ नि यो यहाँबाट यहाँनिर यो चाहिँ line width भनेको तिमीले लेख्ने जुन length छ नि यो this यहाँदेखि यहाँसम्मको length is the line width अनि यसको ठ्याक्क हाफ चाहियो रे मलाई त्यो भनेको चाहिँ 0.5 times the line width. So I wanted to make it much more smaller, say 0.3 भने it will be 1/3 of this line width, so it will be much more smaller. Right? नै मलाई मेरो फिगर अझै ठुलो चाहियो मलाई एक्ज्याक्टली लाइन विथ चाहियो भने just write width equals to line width. Good. Or I don't want to deal with line width. मलाई चाहिँ ठ्याक्क 20 cm चाहियो रे 20 cm लास्ट ठुलो हुन्छ रे 10 cm चाहियो रे. See 20 cm लास्ट ठुलो भयो. 10 सेन्टिमिटर चाहियो भने यु क्यान जस्ट डिजाइन इट अनि विथ मात्रै नगरेर हाइट पनि गर्न मिल्छ ओके गुड perfect by the way यसले कहाँबाट इमेज रिड गर्यो I need to upload the image to the same folder that I'm working on mandelbrot.jpg यहाँनिर छ so it will just read this jpeg file है अनि if you see यहाँनिर it wrote I have written a code which is label भनेर अनि label चाहिँ fake placeholder भन्ने छ हैन I'll talk about labels more now let's go into more detailed mathematics side which is what I think most of you are going to use अहिलेसम्म त it was just formatting अनि त्यसपछि इमेजहरु कसरी हाल्ने टेबलहरु कसरी हाल्ने थियो now I would say this is the most important part as well but also it's not the most important part किनकि you can just google everything in a sense कि मलाई यो r कसरी लेख्ने थाहा छैन let's write how to write real symbol in LaTeX भनेर गर्यो भने आउँछ अनि the problem is there are so many of those symbols I can't teach everything in one class or even I don't know most of them so every time I have to do something I also need to google something हैन तर good thing is they are very intuitive and we'll see some of them है त first thing let's go to mathematical symbols and equations packages used अघि मैले कुरा गरिसकेको थिएँ AMS math AMS symbols physics good there are others AMS text one is there are a lot of others other different packages outside of this outside of this tutorial and also those packages are used for mostly more specific symbols which I don't think we are going to talk about right in 90% of the cases AMS math AMS symbol will just have everything okay let's write mathematical expressions so I don't want it here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new page किनकि it's better to just do everything from scratch so before this let's make a new page
there is a question
yeah
and I think TIKZ पिक्चरबाट पनि गर्न सकिन्छ तर धेरै इमेजमा वर्क गर्दैन रन टाइम ल्यागिङ हुन्छ TIK पिक्चर हुँदा
के पिक्चरहरु एड गर्नलाई yeah so I was talking about that again remember this kind of picture भनेर भनेको थिएँ नि मैले this kind of pictureहरु चाहिँ generated by TXZ भन्ने प्याकेज हैन त्यो भनेको चाहिँ you can write your own code to create new figures तर for example something like image हाल्नु पर्यो अरे for example in this case यो चाहिँ मैले image लेखे हो हैन you can just upload the image you can't create it with TXZ if you want to create a TXZ let me show if I can find one let me see I don't think I have it here seminar which one has TXZ let's see sphere triangle inequality was it here maybe no triangle inequality mathena no mean inequality was it here nope it was not here this was used for something else easy app maybe give me a minute let me quickly find that right prime reciprocal triangular inequality this is constructing symmetric triangle chain rule space triangle inequality preamble irrationality 2.0 plot is on yeah this is TXZ picture. अनि you can add this kind of lines using code. For example, यहाँनिर मैले लेखेको छ नि TXZ picture भित्र axis छ हैन, which gives me this axis. Okay, arrow छ, यहाँ पनि arrow छ. I can add axisहरु कहाँनिर छ, axis line middle मा छ, y axis 1 cm, x axis 1 cm, y minimum goes till minus 5.5, x maximum goes to 5, y min 0.5, I think this goes to 5.5. And I can add plotterहरु, color black, axis को line black. You can see sample 100, sample भनेको चाहिँ कतिवटा distribution मा छ, domainहरु -5 देखि 5. अनि त्यसपछि this is the equation that I added for the circle, right? So you can add this kind of diagrams using TXZ. In fact, this penguin, the TXZ penguins that I talked to you about, is completely created using TXZ. This is completely TXZ. And I want to talk about this later, so we'll come back to that. So yeah, you can always do equation or well, not equation. If you want figure or you can make it using TXZ. And in fact, like, it's really complicated. TXZ is really complicated, by the way, to learn. I only know one person who has mastered TXZ, and that is the person who created TXZ fingers. So you can use something called Matcha भन्ने एउटा website छ, matcha.io, and this is what I use. I don't know TXZ by heart. I just open editor, हैन, अनि I draw stuff that I want. So for example, if I want to add something like this figure, this is something called a commutative diagram. I don't know how to make this. Well, actually, it's really easy. In terms of commutative diagram, it's really easy. But like, if I want to do this, I can just draw it manually. So I can make a new file and draw it manually. And I can click on TXZ one, and it will give me the TXZ code, and I can just insert it in my code. बुझ्यो नि? So this is how you can use TXZ. If you are daring, you can learn TXZ. I don't really need TXZ in my research. I can just do, if I need to make something, I can just make it in Python and add it. For example, this I made it in Python. So yeah, basically. Now let's learn equations, right? So first thing, let's talk about equations. And second thing is, let's see how we can render equations. So I added a new page. So this is a new page. Let's see if I can get it. Yep, I have a new page. Great. Give me a famous equation. Give me your favorite equation. Anyone? You can unmute and say, it's fine. Come on, कतिजना मान्छे छ chatमा? Okay, कसैलाई छैन? Okay, I'll tell myself. मेरो आफ्नै भन्नुहुन्छ ल. Wait, I think Sudip, you are muted. You wanted to say something?
Okay, मलाई थाहै थिएन म म्युट छु भनेर. We can write like maybe Lagrange equation for.
Okay, we can try Lagrange.
No, we can write like just example, like just basic equals to MC square first of all. Okay,
so I want sentence Sudip's favorite equation is E equals MC squared. If you add $sign around it, it's an equation environment. Okay, so Sudip's favorite equation is E equals to MC squared IO. Okay, and it appears in text. If I want something more fancy, I can say something like, he also likes, do you like force equation?
Force?
Force.
F equals to MA?
Not, let's not say MA, let's say M dx squared.
Dx squared by dt squared.
D squared. D2x by D.
D squared here. D squared x.
Yeah. So we can write more complicated equations with fractions and stuff as well. Let me do this first. Normally, मान्छेले सिक्दाखेरि चाहिँ fraction they write slash frac. अनि these are the things that you can Google. So I don't want to go into more details about these, like how to write fractions and everything. And there are a lot of it, and it's also very time consuming. So if there is like something specific that I want to say, I'll tell you about it. Right. So he also likes this. Oh, well, look at this something. Look at something. I know. If I want this equation to appear in new line or like just its own line, I can do something that looks like double dollars. So सुरुमा एउटा लाइनमा मात्रै लेख्नलाई मैले single dollar use गरेको थिएँ. Now I can do double dollars. अनि double dollars गर्यो भने चाहिँ let's write, I don't know. You said Euler-Lagrange अघि हैन? Let's do Euler-Lagrange. What was it? It was d dt. Then I have brackets. Then it was
partial derivative of dl by d.
Yeah. So
x dot.
X dot पहिला.
Yeah.
So slash partial of L with respect to of well P dot
partial.
Yeah. Minus wait, bracket by dot minus, I think. Minus slash partial of L with respect to P, and this equals 0. So this is my Euler-Lagrange. I don't know if it is correct. I just wrote it from my memory. I took this course like 2 years ago. Don't mind me if it is wrong. Okay. Great. So one thing that I can see immediately is this is in new line. It is not like sentence it's completely in a new line. It is centered. Oh, that is because double dollars. Actually, in fact, you can also do something like equation you can also write as slash small bracket and slash close bracket, and you can write something like E equals MC squared. Works the same way. It's also equation environment. Okay, so there are two ways of writing equations. Let's see if it renders. See, it's the same thing. Oh, only if you want in a new line, you can also do slash big bracket. Oh, sorry, big bracket and slash big bracket close. And this is also a new equation environment, so I can just copy all of these. Great. Let's see if it comes. Good. It's the same thing. Now it depends on you what you prefer. I usually prefer the double dollars and single dollars. There are people who prefer this instead. I don't judge. But there are something, yeah.
I always use like that slash begin and then equation, and you can label it.
I was talking about. I was coming to that. There are something that I don't like, Yaneri. There are actually three things that I don't like here. Can you see? Are there something that you guys don't like? You can raise your hands and say. Any participants? Come on.
I think for me it's f equals to yam and you like d2x by dt square. I think for in that sentence, I don't like that.
Why do you not like that?
The f equals to yam a.
Okay, no, not in terms of
Writing
equation.
Okay.
I am talking about in terms of formats. Like equation, you can write anything, right? But like formats, why don't I like it?
Format is okay.
Do you think it is okay?
I think yeah, pretty much okay.
Okay. I have three main problems with this. And this is because of experience, either. One is yeah, this fraction D is very small than M or F. Oh, the font size of D here is really small. It's sometimes useful to have this small font. If you buy default, right, just FRAC, which for fraction, it will give you the default size. So it will just give you the smaller size. I don't like this. It's unreadable sometimes. So I write something called D, which basically overrides it and makes each of the font size big. So now this is much more suitable to look at. Can you see it? Now it's big. Font size is good. One problem solved. Second problem that I don't like. This bracket here is very small. Normally, the bracket like there is a fraction, we add a ठुलो bracket like ठुलो size even smaller brackets ठुलो size so that it envelops everything. I don't like small one. Then what I can do is I can do something which is /left. So यो अगाडिको ब्राकेटको अगाडि /left अनि क्लोजिङ गर्नुभन्दाको अगाडि चाहिँ /right लेख्यो भने then it makes my bracket much more bigger. This is so much better to look at, right? Now I can do something like, now I don't like this equation that is in the center. Normally equation like I say, I want it to be numbered so I can refer to it later on. I know. So I can just do, so instead of just writing double dollar unity, I can just do something which is I can make a new environment which is begin equation environment. Okay. And I can add the same number without same equation without any double braces, and this will give me not braces. This will give me it to be numbered. Great. So now I can refer to it back, right? Great. Sometimes this format is useful. Your equation can be something like very minor, and you will never refer to it back. Then you can just write double dollar sign and just write it. यदि अलिक इम्पोर्टेन्ट इक्वेसन छ भने चाहिँ always write big in equation ma. And even if you don't want it to be numbered, what you can do is big in equation mai pani I can do something like same thing yahaneri tara equation ko पछाडिपटि चाहिँ I can add asterisk, and if I add asterisk yahaneri it will override the numbers. So big in equation environment भित्रै if I add asterisk अब चाहिँ number दिदैन के. Make sense? So I personally, also Sudeep said already, I always prefer this. I always prefer big in equation environment when I'm writing equation in a new line. तर एउटै लाइनमा लेख्नु चाहिँ this is the best thing you can use. Okay? Any questions till now?
Yeah, about labeling.
You have a question about labeling?
Okay, okay then.
No, tell me.
इक्वेसनमा जस्तो लेबलिङ गर्नु पर्यो भने त्यही तलपट्टि स्ल्यास गर्यो अनि लेबलिङ गर्यो अनि
Okay.
इन इक्वेसन.
That's what you wanted. Okay. So I have this equation. Let's say I'm writing somewhere. Say according to equation 1, we can find an optimal curve a ball can take under gravity. I know. Perfect. There's one thing wrong here. One thing wrong is that I added 1 manually. Remember, you're using LaTeX. You can optimize everything, or you can make everything automatic. So what I can do is, this is 1, I know. Say something like I added a new equation maybe. So begin equation. I don't know. E equals mc squared. Now that's the only thing in my head right now. I know. Okay. Now take a look at it. Equation 1 is equals mc squared. It's not the Euler-Lagrange equation anymore. So there's something wrong. We don't remember when I said we don't need to manual number one. Now there's something wrong. So what I can do is I can add a little label here. So I can say plus label and say this is EQN. EQN is just to like denote it as an equation and say Einstein's equation. I know. And I can label that here, which is slash label, and I can label it to be EQN, and I can label this to be Euler-Lagrange. Okay. Now, what I'm referring here, I'm referring to Euler-Lagrange. So I can just do slash ref, which is reference. Honey, what was the reference? It was EQN Euler-Lagrange, right? Now, instead of equation 1, this becomes equation 2, and it actually becomes clickable. So if you click on this, it will take you where exactly that equation was defined. Okay. So now if I change anything in it, for example, if I remove this equation, so I don't like Einstein's equation, but now it becomes equation 1. No. Now I don't have to change anything in it. It will automatically become equation 1. Okay. Honey, fun fact, you can add label to anything you want. For example, let's say I want label here, Mandelbrot segment. There's already a label, figure placeholder one as well. Let's make it Mandelbrot. I know. I can add label on this particular table, which is table 2. So table 2 ma gayo, and table को side ma slash label अनि tab गरौँ भनेपछि table 2 गरौँ हैन. I can go say table and figures को section ma I can add यहाँनेरि label say tables section tables. अनि if I go यहाँनेरि references ma है त अब. So let's go to references यहाँनेरि. Where is it? Yeah, see, I removed it. Now it became equation 1. I want to add this again. It becomes equation 2 again. Now I can say like, I can also reference slash ref, I don't know, Mandelbrot reference figure for Mandelbrot set. Right. Oops. Mandelbrot set. I can say like something like, you can find table plus ref, which was table 2 in section slash ref section tables. Oops. Is my screen still there? Okay. Good.
Yeah.
See, now you created this references everywhere. So if I say I want to go to table 2, and I can just click on table 2, and it will give me exactly the table 2, right? I can click on section 3, it will give me section 3. This is section 3. This is tables, right? So you can always reference anything you want, and you can add references. Okay, everybody understood this? Hopefully, it's not that difficult. Okay, now let's go to more advanced, which is common mathematical symbol, which is like really easy. You can find this like your alpha. What might be the code? Slash alpha. Your beta. What might be the code? Slash beta. You know, for all exists. Long right arrow I think. Implies okay. If and only if. You can also create this with long right arrow. There are set notations in, subset, cop, cap. actually union र intersection is cop and cap है अनि there is a intersection empty set. Actually there was one thing which I was doing हैन. So say कस्तो भने I want to write an example. This is very weird about LaTeX and it's really important to understand this is say I want to write something like that's for all x in x1 होइन. Okay, so it is basically for all element x inside x, right? I want to go it in other way around. So x सुरुमा लेख्ने अनि त्यसपछि exist को अर्को उल्टो वाला direction पनि हुन्छ नि. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So त्यसको लागि चाहिँ I did not know what it was. अनि I knew LaTeX is very finicky on this. So I wrote like x हैन अनि slash. So I want यसको उल्टो यसलाई दियो इनले हैन. So what I wrote slash ni which was ulto of in and it gave me that.
Okay.
So it's very finicky in this kind of thing and it is very literal one, so you can like guess some stuff. Okay, good.
Yep.
You can search for these symbols. I'm not going to teach you for it. Teach you right now. One thing I will teach you is, so I already told you about defrag right now. So instead of frag I can write defrag which will give me rammer good looking ones. So let's say something like in the limit and let's write limit right slash lim lim को लागि चाहिँ तलपट्टिको लागि I tends to slash infinity रे. Infinity is infty by the way अनि say x sub I. Okay, अनि let's say this equals to 0 रे. All right, actually let's make it more fancy. Let's actually create an actual slash defrag 1 over I. This actually goes to 0, right? Yes. Okay, I'm not hallucinating. Okay, so I want this, which is it's good, but I don't like this. Normally I mean limit गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ तल ठ्याक्कै तलपट्टि जान्छ नि limit को I tends to 0 भन्ने. So for example what I mean by that is if I write the same equation in this environment, right? Let's look at it. If I write the same environment equation in this environment, I get the proper looking limit wala symbol. Oh, ठ्याक्क I tends to infinity चाहिँ ठ्याक्कै तलपट्टि छ, right? I want this. I don't want this. You can aside myself. I don't like it. Okay. Then what I can do is I can go yanari and write slash display style. And I can put bracket around all of them. Okay. Now in text it will give me the same style. See, it worked. Okay. This thing applies to also unions and intersections as CUP capital no slash union. No, wait, what was it? This? Never mind. It works with summations as well. That's sum. Say I want to go from I equals 1 till infinity, and I want something like I don't know plus defrag 1 over I squared. Does anyone know this answer? What does this sum evaluate to? Any ideas?
E?
No. Okay, I'll give you the answer. It's pi square over 6.
Basel theorem, right?
Yes. Pi is that's pi. If you want, I can show you my paper on this, which is probably the first official and well-written paper I ever wrote in LaTeX. So here, if I don't write display style, if I just remove this, it looks very bad. I don't like it. See, I don't like this. And we can just bypass that using display style. And another thing that I don't like here is there is no space between this and this. So you can't write space inside equation environment. Okay. So equation environment भित्र space लेख्यो भने त्यो space render हुँदैन. So you type in this tilde. And tilde is equal space दिन्छ. So if I type in like multiple tilde C, there is space. You can't, if you want more gap between them, another thing that I can suggest is quad, which is just the equation environment. Quad, let's say, I think it gives you tab wala equivalent space, star space. Usually whenever you're writing in text, you don't use quad, you just use tildes because it looks nicer. Good. Okay, so these are equations. I mean, you can Google the symbols. That's good. Now, did I miss anything here? Let's look at it. Okay, there's the Basel symbol and Basel problem. Okay, great. This is the Schrodinger equation. You can use physics equation unity. So H bar on a PDV when it goes partial derivative with respect to t psi and t. There's a physics environment for ACO. I don't really like this. I use derivative itself. Well, fraction itself. Yeah, but like does the work anyways. I know. Let's see. Let's look at matrices. Yes. Matrices can be used using can be made using MQTUI sub library of physics library, right? So what you can do is I want MQTY, which is a matrix of 1001. 1001, right? So MQTY and bracket हाल्दियो अनि त्यसपछि 1001 लेख्यो. 1 and 0 अघि टेबलमा जसरी एन्ड लेखेको थियो नि त्यो सेपरेट आउट कोलम्सहरु त्यो गर्यो. You want to go to the next line // great times another PMQTY भनेको चाहिँ this is just a line वाला के भन्छ त्यसलाई column vector is a vector. Ani you can write this here and this equals to this. There's another way of writing matrices, which is I need to Google it. I never use matrices, so matrices in LaTeX. I know. Whenever you don't know anything, you can just Google this, and there's always going to be a documentation by Overleaf. And open it. See, you can type everything. Begin matrix. Same thing. And there is something called P matrix, which is parentheses, small parentheses. There's B matrix, which is big parentheses. B अर्को capital B matrix, which is the curly braces. V भनेको determinant निकाल्नु पर्यो. Capital V भनेको norm, some sort of norm. And you can always do these kind of stuff, all out of weird stuff. L angle, R angle. Yeah. Great. So you can always Google those stuff. Right. Derivatives and integral physics package butter. I don't use this. I just use fractions. You can always use fractions as well, which is fine. Integral is int अनि sub भनेको चाहिँ कहाँबाट जाने अनि to the power भनेको चाहिँ कहाँसम्म जाने, which is the same thing as I wrote here. For example, if we go to sum, then sum को तलपट्टि is n-1, which is denoted by underscore. अनि त्यसपछि माथिको लागि चाहिँ यसलाई के भन्छ power, I don't know, to infinity. And I mean, so you can always do this kind of stuff with LaTeX. And now go to citation and reference. Okay. First thing is whenever you are writing something, you want to create a citation. And there's some good thing is bibliographies are managed automatically by LaTeX. So you just need to create something called a bib file, which I have created here, and you need to introduce it in preamble. So if you go to preamble, where is that? Yes, bibliography entity. So I use AMS alpha normally, right? So I just introduce AMS alpha here, but I can also do something like, I don't remember it, APA plane. Was it APA plane or something? Let me check. I don't really remember it. I think it is APA plane. Let's check. No, it's APA site. Oops. Let's do this. So normally you need to create a bib file. I will tell you how to create a bib file. And you want to say you want to cite something. What's wrong? Define control statement. Cite B, maybe? No. What do I have here? I have APA site, right? Let's put in the text. There's something wrong here. Yeah, for APA you need NB or funny. Let's not use APA. APA ko lagi you need to insert add more dependencies because I don't want to do it. Let's just look at AMS alpha. So if I just do AMS alpha, I don't need a site P unity. Let's just cite here. Okay. So say you are writing something. So you wrote everything and they say as and you want to cite. So as shown by this person, and kun paper ma show gareta. You can just write /cite and this is write the code. Which code is yahaबाट gareta. So this is my paper. Ani yahaneri this is the formatting of bib, which is first time there is a key. There's a uniquely determined key. Then you need to write the title of this. Then you need author and you need where it is published. You can also add journals and stuff. So let's try to find a new bib. Give me a paper. So let's just say I want, by the way, to find a paper, you always go to scholar.google.com. I was working on my thesis, so let's look at this paper. So this is the paper that I'm working on. So let's look at this paper right now. Let's try to find a citation of this. Great, I found the paper. Okay. One thing I could do is I could write / oops, my bad. I could write like article only write everything manually. I don't want to do that. So Google Scholar has this covered. So we can go to Google Scholar and see yana site lekheko छ. I can go to site. Ani you can maybe copy paste yo usma ke re if you are doing everything in Google Docs or Word, you can just copy paste this and this add it in your Word, which is manual labor. I don't like it. I can just go to bibtext yahaneri. So तलपट्टि bibtext भन्ने option थियो. It already gave me the bibtext file. I can just copy this, go back to my code. I can add it here. Okay. This has much more information. It has title, it has author, it has journal, it has volume, number, pages, year, published. Okay. Good. Then I can go to main.text. Let's see where I want to do it. Let's say I want to add it in here. So add bibliography at the end. Or like I can add it as shown by Igor's in his paper. I can /cite. The unique key was Gorbavikis 2016 algebraic. So I can just add this. Oh, good. Now it should compile. Just give it a second. Give it a second. Why is it taking so long? Okay, never mind. Come on. Let me reload this. It's my internet. Okay, it added the citation. Oh, it added the in-text citation. Good. अब normally citation in-text citation मात्र नगएर तलपट्टि referencesमा पनि लेख्नुपर्छ नि. Whenever you add in-text citation यहाँनिर यसरी cite गरेर it automatically adds तिम्रो references पनि. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to change format. I don't have to do anything. I can just define which citation style to use अनि just cite it. B.Text मा add गरेर cite गर्यो अनि that does everything for you. Okay? Great. Now we can go to the next topic. By the way, if you want more information on how to cite, let me do some self-promotion as well. I can go to YouTube. If you search my name, let me search it. Wait. Oops. Reject all. If I search my name, I have a lecture that I gave few years ago, 3 years ago, in APA citation specifically. किनकि I used to use APA before, and I gave a lecture on APA citation. And here you can see a lot of more information, and it also teach you how to do it in LaTeX in more detail. Like text मा कसरी citation लेख्ने, कहाँनेरि in-text citation चाहिन्छ, कहाँनेरि चाहिँदैन, त्यस्तो कुराहरू I have explained it in that video, so you can always look at it. Okay, yeah, यहाँनेरि references पनि लेखेको थिएँ, table, so I can just do tab and references will do. Okay, so you can also use references on a label, which we already talked about before. Okay, good. Okay, next theorems. If you are a mathematician here or a physicist, actually, I can just remember in preamble I defined a new environment Yaneri, which was Yaneri theorem, environment, lemma, proposition, corollary, definition of theorem, example, exercise, remark, note. I wrote those theorems, right now. So now you can just call that environment. Okay, so you can say begin theorem and theorem cost of the Pythagoras too. So you can add it in the bracket, and just to see you can write what the theorem is. Great. So it formats you neatly. So it gives you theorem 6.1, kinaki 6 masa, and it's the first theorem. Then it will tell you whose theorem it is, Pythagoras the theorem book, kinaki you added in big bracket. Then you can write the theorem definition yanari in a right angle triangle, basic Pythagoras theorem, right? And you want to write the proof of that. Then you can just call the proof environment, begin proof. And as a proper mathematician, I just left it as an exercise for the readers. And you can format this according to you want, right? This is the user-defined environment. And you can always use this. You can use something like /begin lemma. And you can say lemma is by, I don't know who it is, someone. And you can say in a general triangle. And I can write something like c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus ab cosine of theta. I can just and this is the generalized cosine rule, right? So I can write the lemma here to prove this theorem. Maybe I don't know. You can prove the lemma first and then go to theorem. So just cosine equals to 90 degree will give you the entire solution. And you can prove some of these. So there can be some definitions like slash begin, not def, it's begin definition. A triangle is right if one of its angle is 90 degrees. We don't have degrees, so to the power slash circ, and this will give you degree. And you can write definitions, all of those. So you can always indulge this new environment. And notice something. Lemma ma चाहिँ statement italicized गरेको थियो, and definition ma चाहिँ it is proper. And this is like the general format of mathematics. Definitions are never italicized, but theorems and lemmas statements are italicized. Now we can go to algorithms. If your program requires some coding, then you can always add algorithm blocks यसरी. And this is due to algorithm library, again, insert गरेको. Then, yeah, again, same thing as tables and everything. So begin algorithms, where do you want to put it? त्यसपछि you can add captions, which is binary search, right? अनि begin algorithmic is the sub function of inside the library. Then state, L gets this, which is the first line. अनि while loop भित्र while state is the line, and if there's an if statement, else statement, else statement, end if, end while, and end algorithmic, and algorithm. So there are a lot of different things you can do. For को लागि /for हुन्छ. अनि you can look at the documentation of these libraries and try to make your own code. Okay, great. Now next one is more decorative. I wanted to thank my friend who is Florian Siller. He's a student in University of Ulm or Ulm University in Germany. He developed a lot of libraries in Python using Tixi Pingus or Waddle, or he also does a lot of developing in R, so data analysis, data frame analysis framework. You can visit his website and you can check this out. I created these penguins using Tixi with his code. So if I go to pingus.txt, this is the code that actually generates this. So if I look at it here, so let's go. See, this code generates everything. And that was also thank you to my friend. I met him last September, and we are one of our close friends. He's a PhD student in Ulm right now. And that's it that I have till now. If you have any questions, any specific question, doesn't matter. Now is the time. I think we'll make this document available for everyone so you guys can see and check.
मसँग एउटा क्वेसन छ होइन, त्यो तिमीले बिगिन गर्यो अनि बिगिन प्रुफ गरेको होइन अघि, बिगिन प्रुफ अनि प्रुफ लेख्यौ तिमीले अनि एन्ड प्रुफ गर्यो अनि त्यसपछि एउटा बक्स आउँछ नि लाइक क्युइडी, त्यो अटोमेटिक हुन्छ होइन?
So if I go to preamble मा यहाँनेरि अनि I see the proof environment कहाँ छ? Yes, corollary theorem.
तिमीले रिन्यू कमान्ड र अनि सुडो सिम्बल एस कमान्ड,
रिन्यू कमान्डमा क्युइडी सिम्बलमा चाहिँ मैले स्क्वायर राखेँ. So if I go यहाँनेरि ब्याक हैन, so let's go कहाँ छ proof, यहाँनेरि छ हैन proof. So यहाँनेरि स्क्वायर अटोमेटिकली आयो प्रुफ भित्र. So प्रुफ चाहिँ थियोरम भित्र आउँछ सधैँ हैन अलरेडी. अनि I want not this यहाँनेरि, I want it to be filled box. So I think it's black box, black square or something. If I do instead, I need to run this. So if I instead change it to be black square, I think it should be it should give me the filled square. Yeah, filled square. I can make it, I don't know, like if I go to preamble entity, I can, instead of making this, I can make I don't know, like that's text, I know. I can say loss hit your proof. Okay, and let's run. Okay, this normally tends to do this. This is why I don't like Overleaf Kinect 3 version. It is very slow. It used to not be slow previously. It was free to use while I think starting this year they made it pay to use and त्यसपछि एकदमै slow र computation speed घटाइदिएको छ. Which is why you can see the CD proof. You can make it anything you want. Okay, was this your question?
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions? You can unmute and say.
केही
I
क्वेसन
know
छ
if
भने नेपालीमा पनि सोद्धा नि हुन्छ है. It's not gonna be a problem.
नेपालीमै सोध.
No. There's a question.
Okay. Okay, I read it. Okay, so my question is is while preparing research poster using LaTeX, which of the document class is suitable to use? In workshop, I had to prepare poster 2 pages, which was among all the posters, how to make 1 page poster using LaTeX. Honestly, I don't know. I don't make posters in LaTeX. But I would suggest articles would be fine for all of them. You can make a lot of different ways, different things in article. For example, the closest thing I have done to poster is, let me try to find it. Was it in 2022, 2024? Let's see. Nope, it was not here. Yeah. Is I made a cover page, I know. I think this was the closest to making a poster I ever came to. All of this, and you can make this in article class as well. So like there might be different specialized classes. I'm not familiar with them. The majority things that I use is article. Sometimes I use report, and most of the time I use Beamer. You can make Beamer. Actually, poster can be very easily made using Beamers. One big problem with Beamer is I don't like how it formats texts. For example, this is very also I don't like how it writes LaTeX or how it writes equation in Beamer. But I think in general you can do it using articles. I'm not quite sure. I'm sorry about that. I never had to make posters.
अरू कुनै क्वेसन छ भने सोद्धा हुन्छ है. ओके देन हामीले आज यति यति नै राख्नुपर्छ है अर्णव के
Okay.
भन्छ तिमी?
आज यति नै गरौँला. If there is any more questions, you can. By the way, you can always take my WhatsApp number, or actually, I'll give you my email address, which is how do I write it? Can I?
तिम्रो ल्याटेक्समा लेख्दा हुन्छ.
Let's just go and edit. I can go where is money? I can go and edit author. I can go slash. I can write it. I don't think it reads as other. Oh no, it does. It does. Yeah, this is my email address. You can always write me email Yaneri. I have a personal email address, but I don't use it quite often. I just am more familiar with my university email address. So hopefully this is good.
Yeah, you can share your LinkedIn if you want.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good idea, but I don't remember my LinkedIn, so let's check. I also don't use LinkedIn a lot, but I do reply frequent. The problem is mathematics, but you don't really need LinkedIn, if that makes sense. I don't know. It might be a bad practice, but um, let's see. Yep, it's Subedi Arnav. You just type it out in the comments. In the oops.
Layer of creation. Nice.
I don't know. I don't have a lot of things like I just repost stuff. Um, I apparently do have a lot of followers. I don't know. He was my professor. I was unfortunately the last person to take one of his courses. He unfortunately passed away. This is the same conference that I went to and met a lot of famous people. Yeah, and weird stuff. I won a hackathon and I wrote an article. That's all. That's everything there. I haven't even
Okay.
up, I haven't even updated my LinkedIn. So you can always text me in LinkedIn. I will reply there. Or you can text me in ResearchGate actually. That might also work. Or LinkedIn works. It's fine. Let's not complicate things.
Okay then. अब मिटिङ यसमा इन्ड गर्नुपर्छ अनि अरू फर्दर के क्वेसन छ भन्दा भनेपछि होइन अर्लभलाई सोद्धा हुन्छ सिम्पली गो टु च्याट जिपिटी एन्ड यु क्यान टाइप एनिथिङ यु वान्ट
Best idea is to go to ChatGPT. Well, I don't use it anymore किनकि मेरो I learned it without ChatGPT अनि मेरो रिफ्लेक्स नै जाँदैन ChatGPT को लागि in terms of LaTeX. So I just Google everything. And Overleaf has really good resources as well, so that should be fine. Um, Anything else? Like it looks like it's very difficult. From Google Docs or Microsoft Word, it looks like a big jump. Yes, it is a big jump. It is a big jump, but you get used to it. I have been using it since 2017. I haven't used Google Doc at all, I think, and like it gets used to it. Like these codes come naturally to you at some point.
ओके यसपछिको
Like
हाम्रो एपिसोड 2मा चाहिँ हामीले पाइथन र नम्पाई भनिरहेको छौँ होइन लाइक
okay,
इफ युआर if you're interested to mentor us then it will be really helpful.
sure. Let actually, I'll tell you one more thing, which is um, which is okay. Is this sharing right now?
Yes.
So I can tell you one more thing, which is um, you can also write LaTeX in code, by the way, in IPY and BRU. Let me not show you this. This is my thesis paper. So I can something like this is my internship paper. Internship code, right? So you can also write LaTeX style thing. Oh wait, actually no, I have a better thing to show. Wait, let's go where? Not here. Statistics not here. Not here. Modeling scientific data analysis not okay. Here. Okay, so something like project Pylma, I guess. I don't know what this project is. Yeah, so you can write LaTeX style code in Jupyter notebook as well. They are called Markdown. And it's the same code, by the way. So wave equation, it's अलिकति different. जस्तै यहाँनिर section होइन यहाँनिर you use hashtag अनि it's everything else is the same, right? So you can write LaTeX code यहाँनिर. This was my project submission, one of the project and this was you can use all of those codes. Then you can write Python. You can change stuff. You can write these kind of equations. And you can simulate stuff, or like you can see something like I don't know project 4 I don't remember. Is it PD? Maybe. So you can always use Python on a LaTeX in Markdown. Yeah, it is PDE. See, all of these are written using LaTeX. Well, one thing is listogram. अघि नै enumerate or itemize गराएको थियौँ नि, यसमा चाहिँ you can just use asterisk and it will give you itemized.
Okay.
Or you can use 1, 2, 3, 4 to enumerate everything. Sorry. And yeah, you can use again NumPy, Matplotlib. I don't want to look at this. Basically, it was trying to simulate magnetic field, no, charge density in a 2D space. So yeah, you can, I can help you guys with this as well. It's not a big problem. I've been doing this as well for a long time. So, yeah, if today's session was helpful, just recommend to Sudeep. So yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Also, I mean, I am in my final year of my undergrad in mathematics. The only thing I'm doing right now is research. So I'm pretty free. So yeah.
Okay. Then maybe next month or even.
Okay. That works. Well, next month, I don't think I can. Can I get next month with exam, sir?
Then after that.
Yeah, after that, mo Nepal ma hunchu, January ma. So during that time, I can do it.
Okay. All right then.
All right.
Then see you in next meeting.
See you. Thank you so much for attending. Hopefully you guys learned something. I hope now you can shift from shitty looking docs